Hey, you guys, we have a special. We got a special guest today. He is the voice and the analyst for the Denver Broncos, and he's also the host of Locked On Broncos. So I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and looking forward to chatting with you.
Me too. Um, Before we get into the Broncos, I did some little research on you. You were part of the NFL Pro Football Network.
Yeah, that's where really kind of got my career started in the sports media world in terms of full-time work was with Pro Football Network, and it was actually crazy. It was Radio Row back in I think it was 2021. It was when Super Bowl 56. It was between the Rams and the Bengals.
Okay.
And then just going down there, interviewing a lot of big name players and just going through that whole experience. I mean, it was nonstop in terms of, 6 a.m. to about 5 p.m. We just lined up interviews. And that's kind of how I got noticed by my current job. My boss was there at Radio Row watching. And then, he saw that and he offered me a job to come cover the Broncos as a beat reporter. And I've been doing that ever since. So since 2022, now I'm with Mile High Sports. And that's kind of where things have progressed. And here we are going into yet another year of NFL coverage. So I'm very fortunate, very fortunate.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Honestly. So, yeah, well, the Denver Broncos did fall a little short this season. So, what kind of grade would you give this year?
Well, I mean, honestly, I would give the season an A grade, and there's still so much more room for improvement, and there's so many different what ifs that could be talked about, right? What if Bo Nix didn't break his ankle late in the game against Buffalo? How big of a difference would that have made in the AFC Championship against Drake May and the Patriots? I think there's a resounding feel that if Bo had played in that game, maybe Denver wins, but that's something we'll never know. And but they're close, though. I mean, they were a few plays away from being a Super Bowl 60. I don't know how they would have done against Seattle. I mean, obviously, Denver's got a great defense. Seattle has a great defense.
Oh, yeah.
But if it was Jarrett Stidham in the Super Bowl against that Seattle defense, I'm not sure it would have been a good result there for Denver, so to speak. But there's a lot of motivation. Denver exceeded expectations, winning 10 games last year and then winning 14, winning 11 straight games this year. That is hard to do. That was one of the more impressive feats that we saw this past season. The crazy thing about it is that this Broncos team offensively still didn't play up to what they could be, their potential. There was so much that, you feel like they could have done better, especially in the run game, personnel-wise. So I think that for Denver to win 14 games last season, I think is incredible. And the scary thing is that I don't think that they've played their best brand of football. I felt like they started to get to that in that Buffalo game with Bo Nix, and unfortunately, he broke his ankle.
Yeah.
Really down the stretcher. I mean, but for him to rally the team, they're down 27-23. He throws a touchdown in the final minute, leads them on a game-winning drive potentially there. We saw everything that we needed to see to answer whether or not Bo Nix is a franchise quarterback. And for Denver, they certainly have their guy.
Well, I am a big Bo Nix fan. What is the next step do you think that Bo needs to take?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, so much now is the question about, how is he going to come into this upcoming season after having ankle surgery? He should be fine for the team's offseason program. But, I would say for Bo, maybe one area that, he could improve on or take the next step sometimes is just staying a little more patient in the pocket sometimes. His ability to use his legs. I mean, he was one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the NFL for a reason. And that's just because he knew how to avoid pressure. I mean, he knows how to extend plays. He's smart. He knows when to get rid of the football. I would say that there were times this season where maybe he could have stayed in the pocket a little longer, let something develop. But, I mean, I think if he's got the sense to say that there's pressure coming, he knows how to evade it. I think you want to see him play into that. But Sean Payton wants him to win within the pocket a little bit more. I think for Bo to take all the pressure off of Bo, which I think, any NFL head coach that wants to put the quarterback in a position to succeed, you can't put it all on their shoulders, right? Like you have a quarterback that's proven he can win games, he can be clutch, he can do everything necessary to put you in a position to win, but help your quarterback out by committing to the run game a little bit more. I would say that would help open things up for Bo in the offense. Having a sustainable run game would be so big for them. And for Bo, I think, and especially for him coming off the ankle surgery, I hope that's going to be an emphasis for them this offseason is trying to revamp that running back room, maybe adjust their run scheme a little bit, just to be able to get some help, take the pressure off Bo. Bo had the most passing attempts this season in the NFL, and that right there is a little bit of a problem. You don't want your quarterback to have to throw it all the time. You want to be able to win with both the run and the pass, and Bo's certainly proven that they can win with the pass, but they got to be able to run the football if they want to win the Super Bowl.
Well, there is free agency coming up. And I'm not sure how many free agents does the Denver Broncos have right now.
Yeah, so right now going into March 11th, they have 21 players who are set to be free agents. 11 of those 21 players are unrestricted. They've got about 6 restricted free agents and about 4 exclusive rights free agents.
Ooh.
So they have a ton of players, but I would say like the biggest name players that are set to be unrestricted, it's obviously John Franklin Myers, Alex Singleton, Justin Sternad, PJ Locke. Those are really the big name guys. There's a bunch of role players that are set to be unrestricted, and we'll see if Denver looks at bringing those guys back. But those are the guys that are going to have anticipated market values on the free agency market. Restricted free agents, they have some I'd say some good options there. Jaquan McMillan, obviously the starting nickel for them. He's such an incredible young player. He's in line for a contract extension. I think Denver's going to give him one. And then I think out of their exclusive rights guys, they got to find a way to bring Dondre Tillman and Devin Key back into the mix here. Those guys were so impactful as depth players on defense, but also key special teams players there for them. So there are a lot of in-house guys that Denver's going to have to take care of. I don't know if they're going to bring everybody back. I don't know if John Franklin Myers is going to return. It doesn't look like he will, but anything could change. And they need to go out there and they need to be aggressive, I think, for a running back. If they could trade for a top-tier wide receiver, maybe an A.J. Brown, a Jalen Waddle, just to help Bo Nix, get him another weapon, and also take the pressure off of Cortland Sutton, who's seeing bracket coverage almost all season long. That's going to be a very big key for them, I think, this offseason. And it doesn't hurt to maybe even upgrade the tight end room a little bit.
So, what is the salary cap looking like for the Broncos right now?
Yeah, I mean, as it stands, they're in a pretty good standing with their salary cap space. Let me take a look at what the anticipated number is. But I know for the NFL, for them, they are facing a new record-setting salary cap this season, estimated between $301 million to $305 million. So that right there is going to be crazy. But as it stands right now, Denver is looking to have around $28 to $30 million in salary cap space. Then when you factor in the new league year number, there will be that difference there that'll be added to it. I think Denver will probably restructure a couple of players' contracts, convert it to signing bonuses.
Oh, yeah.
That's the benefit of having a cash-rich ownership group like Denver does, because I mean that's nothing to them. That's not going to impact them. If they're going to lower those salary cap hits on some of their bigger name players by giving them a signing bonus, they'll find a way to do that just to create more space. But they've said that they're going to be aggressive in free agency, which I like that. I think that this is the time to do it. Push your chips in. You made it to the AFC Championship. You want to go win the Super Bowl? Do everything you can right now while Bo Nix is on a rookie deal. Push the chips in to go get some big-name players on offense and defense.
You mentioned the running back room. Would you ever think that bring back Javonte Williams?
I mean, I really like Javonte. I think Javonte's departure and him having success that he had, obviously, in Dallas, I think it showed that the issue wasn't Javonte. I think the issue is the Broncos' scheme, their run scheme that they have. Javonte's a downhill guy where it's more gap scheme based versus Denver, with Sean Payton, they wanted to implement, the outside zone where it's, hey, stretch it wide and find the cutback there. But that's difficult. I know a lot of teams are running that, especially, the Kyle Shanahan style offense. I think obviously the Seattle Seahawks had some success with that type of scheme as well. But I think when you have certain guys that are just better at just downhill, that's what you need to do. Denver has to be able to be better running the ball inside from under center. As Sean Payton mentioned at his end-of-year press conference to us. But I don't think Javonte will be a name that they look to bring back. They weren't even that interested in bringing him back when he hit free agency. There was not contact between Denver and his agent. And Javonte was bummed about that. Javonte is such a great dude. But he kind of said, okay, it's the business side. I'm going to go elsewhere. And I think Dallas was terrific in having him. And I think that maybe they'll find a way to bring him back into the mix. But I think the Broncos are going to shift their sights elsewhere as to maybe a Breece Hall of the New York Jets. Here, or I would even say Travis Etienne of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But for me, Kenneth Walker is going to be a free agent. But after winning Super Bowl MVP, I don't see him leaving Seattle. I see them taking care of him. Yeah. So Breece Hall is the next best option.
Oh, yeah. And the NFL draft is in April. So what position do you think that they're going to target in the first round?
Oh, it's interesting. I mean, they're picking 30th, so that's not necessarily like a they're not going to get like premier positioning. I could honestly see them trading their first round pick this year. I could see them not having that 30th pick. But it may not even be – it may be one of those situations, right? Like if they make a trade, like for example, let's say they wanted to trade for Jalen Waddle or A.J. Brown. Yeah. I imagine they'd have to give up a first round pick. That stuff would probably happen. It could happen the night of the draft, could happen before the draft, so to speak. This is the year I don't see Denver having their first round pick. But let's operate under the hypothetical. Let's say that they do. I still think skill player. I think offensive skill player, whether that's a wide receiver, a tight end, or an inside linebacker. I think those will probably be the three positions they should probably focus at there with their pick there in the first round if they do keep it.
Okay. Nice. And going to the last question, who is your favorite Broncos to interview?
Oh, man. There's so many. Denver, that locker room, they have so many great guys, so many great players in there. I would say my favorite to interview probably would be Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey is always willing, like, through the good and the bad, if the Broncos win, he's great. If the Broncos lose, he's still great. Like he's very honest. He answers questions. I think he always takes time to do that. Nick Bonito is also another guy as well. He obviously won this year the Demaryius Thomas Team MVP award through the PFWA. He also won the Darren Williams Good Guy Award. The first player in Broncos history to win both in the same year, which is pretty crazy. Nick has always been just always willing to talk, whether, in good or in bad. He's very open and honest with us in the media. They have so many guys in that locker room that are fun to interview, though. But I would have to say, if I had to give the top interview, it would probably be Mike McGlinchey for sure.
And then who's the worst?
Well, that's a great question. I would say he's not on the roster anymore, but Jerry Jeudy was always kind of the worst to interview.
Oh, really?
There's nobody in that locker room this year that I feel, is like, hey, this guy's going to be a painful interview. Like Jerry never wanted to speak with us, period. And anytime he did, he always had an attitude. And look, I understand, the media sometimes plays a big role in putting gasoline on the fire or making, situations bigger than they really are. And unfortunately, I'm in media. I don't do that personally, but I understand why it impacts the perception of media from players.
Oh, yeah.
But Jerry was just always even when even being nice to Jerry on my end, there were times where Jerry was just completely rude to me, and I was, I've always been a supporter of Jerry. So that was kind of I would say probably the worst interview that I would have to conduct.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It was fun chatting with you. And look, I even think, too, the Packers got a bright future. I like what Jordan Love brings to the table. And maybe they could find a way, I think, to run the football a little bit more in the second half, especially when they were up against the Bears. I wish that LaFleur ran the ball. But Green Bay is going to be a hell of a team. And I think that they're just going to continue to get better. They're going to be the NFC is going to be very fun, especially that division. But no, I appreciate you for having me.
Anytime. And guys, go check his stuff out. I'll I'll be putting in the description below. So, once again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And you have a good day.
You as well.